Hello everyone and welcome back to Sudden Wealth. I hope you guys are doing very well. If you do enjoy the content, please consider dropping that like and subscribe. We are four subs away from the magical number of 1,000. So let's make that final push. Now, a lot happened recently. So let me go a little bit, in stages. So on Tuesday we got the CPI came out. It was on Tuesday. Yes, it was on Tuesday. We had the inflation numbers coming out. We sold down. And actually, if you go check my video of that day, I did mention, for those of you who like day trading and all of that kind of stuff, I said on the S&P, 4,920 was a strong support. Further below, you're going to see 4,800, but most likely 4,920 should do well. Guess what? If you check that day, we went to 4,920 and 75 cents or 35 cents, something like that. So I was wrong by 75 cents or whatever, by 0.0001%. So again, once that report came out, the typical doom and gloomers were already cheering for the top is done, it's it, that's finished, blah blah blah, all of that. I looked at the charts. What did I see? I see that we tested the 20-day EMA on exponential moving average on the S&P 500 and on the Nasdaq. And then I also checked the Russell 2000, and we basically tested the 200 weekly moving average. That's all we did. And we found support amongst the indices, and we went straight up. Bitcoin sold off up to 48,000 or so. And now we are at 51,700. And gold, of course, dropped below 920. Look, there's a very strong support at 960. So maybe there's potential for us to go to 1965 or something, or 70 even. Maybe we front run that a little bit, but I don't see much further downside from that in the short term. In any case, it was funny to see Peter Schiff in complete disbelief and sadness in Pompliano's podcast. If you guys don't know, check the video of Peter Schiff, I think 1 day ago or so, on Pompliano's channel. And basically, he was even losing his voice, talking about the potential Bitcoin 100K and gold dropping below 2,000 and gold stocks getting annihilated worse than everything. Was really something to behold. Don't forget that this is the same guy who put whatever credibility he has left on the line, saying that 2021 was it for crypto. Finished. Never seen before stimulus, both fiscal and monetary, money printing like never before, Super Bowl ads, CNBC ads, everyone push for crypto. So he declared crypto to be dead forever. That's it. Finished. That was the top. Now the bubble will deflate. It will not go in a straight line, but it will go to zero eventually. And every time, and he advised people, he was shouting at people to say, sell your Bitcoin at 40K, 45K, 30K, 35K, 20K, 15K, 25K, 22K. Sell your Bitcoin. And now Bitcoin is at close to 52,000, and people who listen to him once again got annihilated. Now, I feel sorry for those who are newcomers and they are not aware of his track record. But for those of you who've been here for years and you've seen his track record, if you still fall for this idiot advice, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, I'm sorry. Then that means you like to get destroyed. You see, he doesn't care. He collects his 2% management fee. He goes to these channels, he gets paid for it, he gets ad revenue, he gets sponsorship revenue, he goes to conferences, gets paid, he goes to Fox News, he gets paid. You don't. You just have the privilege of listening to him and losing all your money while everybody else makes money. You see, you can tell by the way he sells his funds. You see, because all his funds are on the red since inception. Meaning, think about it. The longest, biggest bull market in history And he managed to launch his funds in the middle of it and is down today in price performance of his funds. Think about it. He managed to find something that didn't go up. And when he's selling his funds to his audience, it would be so easy. He never mentions returns. And there's a reason for it. Because if people actually search his funds, nobody will buy them. So he just talks about them. Because it would be so easy if he said, look, buy my funds. I created the funds 10 years ago, and we are up 200 or 300%, on average 20 to 30% per year. So you see, we do very well. But he doesn't do it because he knows very well his performance is so garbage that the idea is to lure people in from the podcast. People listen to him, say, oh, this guy makes a lot of sense, blah, blah, blah. Oh, he predicted this right and that right and the other right. Of course, he didn't predict anything right. And then people go and buy into his funds and get completely annihilated. And it's such a shame to see, but unfortunately, I don't think this is going to stop because this is how he makes his money. But, well, talking about more positive things. So Bitcoin is above 50,000, now above 51,000 quite comfortably. Some altcoins are starting to run, but Ethereum finally shows some signals of life. It is year-to-date outperforming Bitcoin, but 2 or 3%. So nothing spectacular. I am expecting to see Ethereum outperforming more than this, 15, 20% around that level. Now, does that mean that Bitcoin is going to go down? No, it just means that it goes down less than Ethereum. As I mentioned, I do believe we're going to go up in Bitcoin into the halving, and then the day of the halving is going to be a big sell the news event, just like the ETF coming out was. People are advocating that, oh no, but this time is different because of the ETFs. We'll see. I don't think so. I don't see why we would have, like, everybody knows the halving is coming. Everybody's pricing it in. Why would people wait for the day of the halving to buy if they know it's coming mathematically? It makes no sense. In any case, people will tell themselves anything to convince themselves that the price is going to go up. Now, what matters the most at this stage, and people should be aware, if you check gold ETFs, they are being depleted of flows. I mean, the outflows of cash from those assets is crazy, and the inflows into Bitcoin ETFs is quite dramatic. I think after 1 month of the ETFs coming out, I think we're still having net inflows, net, keyword, not gross inflows of money without paying attention to the money going out. Talking about the money coming in is about 500 million per day from what I've seen. So it is quite, not per fund, by the way, across all the funds. About 900 Bitcoin are produced per day, 900 times 50, 9 times 50, 45. So yeah, I mean, you know that when the halving happens, it's going to be, if the flows keep on this way, there's high potential for price appreciation. I do believe that there's going to be a sell the news event, in my opinion. We'll see. Maybe this is going to be the first time in history that we see a buy the rumor, buy the news event. As per the cycle, still behaving according to plan. The only thing a bit different is indeed Ethereum is not doing as well as I would hope for. However, keep this in mind. I've mentioned this 100 times. I'll say it again. Ethereum is in its third cycle curse, which means it's poised to disappoint. Will Bitcoin do well in its fourth cycle? Who knows? We've never seen a fourth cycle before. Maybe the third cycle is like, when people are losing weight, the third week is where the losing weight stalls. But then by the fourth week, it resumes. So maybe that's going to be it. Maybe the third cycle is just a little issue in the diet, if you will, that then takes time. And then by the fourth cycle, things resume. I don't know. We need to see it. Seeing is believing it. So at the moment, I will assume that Bitcoin's returns will be further worse than the other cycles. Now, a little bit more macro. I'm not sure if you guys have seen the Tucker Carlson meeting. Look, you know that I don't comment on these matters, but there's a scenario of complete euphoria by 2025. And you guys know that I've always been cautious in my approach, has been conservative, but for all sakes, I should be able to also discuss the positive or the potential positive side, okay? I do believe that if Trump wins the presidency, I think is way more is man making his own decisions, if you know what I mean. He's not the sort of guy who's gonna make a decision in his head, go to the deep state people, and then come back and change his mind. I don't think that's gonna happen. I think that's the reason why actually the status quo, the political system, doesn't like him, because he actually tends to think by his own head. Now, does that mean that he only thinks about no pun intended, but everything he thinks is gold? No, of course not. He's a person. But I do think he's less controllable, so that's why, the political system and the media get very shaky if he's doing well in the polls. I think the 2025 euphoric scenario would be something to this nature. 2024 ends on the green light. It's an election year, 90% of them end on the green, so that would be a repetition of expectations. He gets into office, and all of a sudden, we start drilling a lot of oil again. Inflation definitely comes below the 2% mark. Interest rates can be cut, not because of a recession, but basically rates don't need to be cut. Rates can actually hold a bit higher for longer, and things seem good enough despite that. The conflicts get solved, both in the Europe and both in the Middle East. And basically now we can be priced and there's a big advancement in AI in 2024 and beginning of 2025. If all these things happen, this is the dream scenario in my view. For the markets, I'm not here making judgments, I'm not here making political affections to anybody. I'm just saying I think the markets would welcome him becoming president, solving the conflicts, pumping oil and gas, reducing the costs, not cutting rates, but finally having the room to cut rates if need be, if there are signs of recession, or even the rate cuts happen this year and there's no need for further rate cuts next year. That's also a possibility. But I do believe this, and I've said this before, if the rate cuts happen in May of this year, as I expect, that will be a sell the news event, because the market is pricing the rate cuts. So when the rate cuts happen, that means that, first of all, something is not well with the economy. Number two, it's already priced in, the effects. So people want the rate cuts, I get it. Like 3 months, 6 months after, yes, stocks start to go up. But when the cuts actually happen, stocks and risk on assets in general go down. Okay, people forget that. And then 2025 would be the big euphoric year, also for cryptos, maybe the first half of the year, who knows, which would culminate with the spot ETF for Ethereum, a perfect top signal that everybody could see from a mile away. You would get all these people believing that now Ethereum was never going to go down again, so the altcoins would never go down again. Everybody would be positioned and convinced that a permanent plateau, you remember this expression from the Great Depression, 1929? What was it? Permanent plateau of prosperity in the crypto world has now arrived and it's going to stay here forever. Yeah, man, I don't think so. When that kind of feeling starts to pop up, when everything is pressed for perfection, you just need the first little thing to go a little bit against you, and the whole thing sells off, and then maybe we have another bear market in crypto. Now, does that mean that it's going to be as severe of a bear market in the sense of Bitcoin down 80%, Ethereum down 87%? Maybe it's going to be Bitcoin down 60%, maybe Ethereum down 75% or 70%. We'll be here to see it. In any case, that would be, I think, the dream case scenario once again for the markets. I'm not here. I don't like these little games because my like I have opinions of who should be president, but at the end of the day, I need to make my own life. These guys won't make anything for me. These guys will not save me from anything. I need to save myself. And with that, guys, thank you very much for your support. Drop that like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.